Hello there, this is Ajit, and today I have the answer to the most asked question by the community. How do we get started on the business? Now, I know this is the most common question that authors, speakers, coaches, experts have all the time when they're just starting in the field, or even if they've gotten started but not really figured out how to really scale their businesses. This will give you that foundation to not only get started, but kind of know what is it that is the missing piece in your business right now. It's going to be a long video, I'll be honest. I want to make sure that the expectations are set right. There'll be a lot of information, but hopefully my hope with this video is after this video you'll feel very confident to know how to take your business from wherever it is or you're starting out to at least higher 6 figures or even to 7 figures or more. Okay, so this video will kind of set that baseline, which I have used many times for starting my businesses or being when I'm coaching businesses, when I'm helping them using in our momentum program and different masterminds. So I'm going to try and distill all that information to you, which is why it'll take a bit at the same point in time, which is why also I suggest and highly recommend that you have some kind of note-taking device where you pause the video, where you need a minute to process the information, keep pen and paper around or whatever so you can draw with me if you want to. And let's get started, okay? So I'm stoked about this. I'm hoping you are as well. And step one, principle one. I've got my notes here, so if I refer to it, just know that I'm making sure that I've covered everything for you in this video. So the first principle when you are starting a business as a speaker, author, coach, expert in your field is what I call knowing your beachhead. Probably it's misspelled, but knowing your beachhead is what I'm trying to say. Knowing your beachhead is the first principle when you're starting a business. Why is it so important? When businesses are started, when coaches start going in or experts start going into a field, they tend to think they can serve everybody. And they are creating their business because they want to help the world and that their solution is applicable to every industry. And to be very honest, it is true. It is applicable to everyone. It is, yes, useful for everyone. It is, yes, the perfect solution. But here is what happens when you're trying to address many industries and many individuals at the same time. You tend to create solutions that should solve a larger problem. And when you try to solve a larger problem, what happens is that minor or small community that you could test with, which you can learn from, which you could actually kind of customize your messaging and make them feel involved with you, kind of dilutes the interest because they feel you are for everyone. So think about it like this. When we started EverCoach or when we started Zentrepreneur, we attacked a very small space of certain type of coaches. For example, when we started EverCoach, we were only concerned about coaches that were making 5 figures and wanted to go to 6 figures. So even in the coaching space, which is already a market, a small enough market, we went further niche and we said, we only want to work with people. We only want to create products that help these individuals, right? So it's a niche of a niche, if you think about it, or niche of a niche, or however you like to say it. And that's called a beachhead. Because what you do is when you're going into a war, instead of just going and saying, I will fight at all fronts, you go, you try to conquer a beachhead, understand your enemy's strategy, and then go ahead and conquer each beachhead at a given time, eventually conquering the country. Now, this is a war analogy, which is probably wrong in the space of business, but you get my point. Right? So first of all, what you need to know as somebody who's just starting out is what's your beachhead. Now, it's a very hard question to answer because it's like, which one should be? Like I said, if your product solves all the problems, you go, well, it solves all the bloody problems. So I can't really pick one because it solves all of them. Pick any one is the solution for that. I know it's hard. I know it's painful because you're like, what if I pick the wrong one? Maybe you will. But here is the thing. So think about, here's a reframe of mindset that you can approach this particular problem with. So I could have picked executive business coaches. I could have picked coaches that were in the range of 5-figure businesses. I could have picked life coaches. I could have picked certifications to coaches or creating coaches. But I picked this one. Was it right or wrong? The thing is, I could have picked any 4 of them. All of them were right and all of them were wrong. And that's the truth about business that you need to understand, is when you go in, let's say you are an expert in the space of manifestation, hypothetical example, or in the space of fitness, juicing, let's say, okay? You could go ahead and address the juicing situation to everybody and have everybody's attention, but nobody being able to go, I really resonate with this person because they speak to me so much, right? Because think about it like this, a 35-year-old doesn't have the same schedule as a 25-year-old, doesn't have the same schedule as a 45-year-old, and if you change the gender, the schedule changes again completely, right? So what if you only approach 35-year-old males or 45-year-old females, right? Now your messaging, the way you communicate, the way you write copy, the way you make a video is completely different because you are attacking a beachhead. There is another way of figuring out. So one, the first answer is, how do I know if this is the right beachhead? How? The answer is, you never know. Pick one. Okay? And that's how you get started. You just pick one. Okay? That's the first answer. The second answer is, let's say by chance you're new, but at the same point in time you have a list, or you have a Facebook fan page, or your friend has it and he's ready or she's ready to support you. Then you take leverage, which basically means if your friend has a fan page that addresses 35-year-old males in the health area, that's the space where you start. That is exactly the place that you start because you have leverage. You can get started. You can actually move. And wherever you can move is where you get started. So you don't waste time in building up or getting started, which is the biggest problem with most experts, right? I need to get my perfect website. I need to get my perfect offer. I need to get my perfect niche. I need to get my perfect video. No, get started is the first thing that you need. Everything else will become better as you go. Okay? So first, know your beachhead, and if you don't know one, it's absolutely okay to just pick one and start instead of hoping that you would somehow figure out the perfect beachhead and you will nail it, because it doesn't work that way. It's business. It needs you to keep iterating based on what the market is responding, which means all markets are right and all of them are wrong at the same time. Okay? So start somewhere, pick one and run. If you have leverage, which is a beautiful scenario to be in, start wherever the leverage is, and that's how you pick your beachhead. Okay? Very simple ways of actually going ahead and starting something. Okay? That's the first principle. That's the first step, is to know your beachhead. Once you know your beachhead, you do the second thing, which is competitive research. So let's say, for example, you pick the 35-year-old male market for fitness products, and let's say you also streamline that your first way of attacking that market or introducing yourself to that market would be a juicing product. I'm just hypothetically taking situation, okay? What you would do next is you would go ahead and on Facebook, on Google, using SEMrush, which is a tool that allows you to be able to research Google a little bit more, you would go in and find what your competitors are doing. Okay? Here's why this is important, because sometimes as an entrepreneur, as an expert, you feel you know the solution, but somebody else in that market has already tested and failed enough times to create a successful business out of it, right? And when you go ahead and just look at their business, just seeing what seems to be working, what you get is you get an idea of what you should probably create or work towards for you to be able to create a more thriving business faster, right? One of the biggest things that happens to us as entrepreneurs is if the success doesn't come fast enough, we get frustrated with it, right? Because we want to move fast. And if the result is not happening, we get irritated and frustrated by it, which puts us into a negative spiral or a negative cycle, and then we feel that market doesn't work. And that's not true. Most of the markets, if somebody else is successful in it, you can be successful in it if you have a good product, which I trust that you have. So what you need is more ways to move faster. Competitive research, or knowing what your market is doing or your competitors are doing, is not necessarily to kill the competition. It's for you to understand the market. Not from your perspective, but from customer feedback that this person has already collected theoretically, right? You will know what landing page is working for them. You know what headlines working for them. You know what ads are running, where they're running, and how you can leverage similar ideas, if not same, or a spin to that idea to get started, to get some audience attention, to get moving in that space. Okay, so how do you do this competitive research? Very easy. You go in to Facebook, type their fan page name, or go ahead and find fan pages on the niche that you are in, and just go start looking. Just see what they're posting as comments, as at posts, what kind of images they are sharing, what kind of landing pages they are sharing, what kind of videos they are producing. So you'll get an idea of the audience that way. Secondly, you can go to a tool called semrush.com, which does competitive research on Google AdWords and SEO for you, where you'll enter the keyword or the domain name, and they'll tell you what ads they're running, what kind of keywords they're running, what kind of landing pages they're running. So you can just simply go there and check it out, right? Same, they do it for SEO, which is search engine optimization. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically the organic results that you see on Google, right? So, or the results that are not in the yellow background or whatever, like they don't look like ads, basically. They're simple text that shows up in your search. You click on that, you'll see what kind of keywords they are ranking for, what kind of articles they are writing, that you can also write similar articles and try to dominate that space. Okay, so that's competitive research, and that's how you do it. So the three tools that I told you, or two tools that I told you to see, is Facebook and SEMrush, which will allow you to do competitive research on your competitors. Now another one, if you are good at video, is you can go and check out YouTube and find, and it depends on the niche, it depends on the market that you're addressing. Some markets are not so active on YouTube because it's a smaller segment, or it doesn't really have too much how-to going on, but a lot of markets are very active on YouTube and are looking for information on YouTube, which is, by the way, I think the second or the third largest search engine right now in the world. And you can find what kind of content people are looking for when they're searching YouTube, which gives you an opportunity to understand what kind of content you should create, free content, and what kind of content you should create, paid content. Right? So it gives you an idea of the market space and gives you an idea of what type of marketing you will need to create to be able to dominate the space. Okay? The third principle, once you have done the competitive research or have ideas, that's what you do at this point is once you've done this research, you write down what are some of the ideas that you have, save them on Evernote, save it on any other tool that you use to save the landing pages, the images, the text. So when you will come back to the third step, you have some resources and some material for you to keep working on it, okay? This can be done in the space of a day, by the way, the first part and this part, a couple of hours for the matter by the end of this video. Then what you do is the third step, which is called make a free offer. Now, a lot of people argue about free offers, or there's a term that our dear friend Ryan Dice has coined called tripwire. So some people go, oh, I want to do a tripwire. Some people go, I want to do free offers. I personally like free offers. I like the idea of saying, you should know me before we have to do a transaction. You don't need to give me $1 or a cent or a penny till the time we have established trust between us. So I do free offers, and that's what I recommend people to do, is to give something away for free for people to get introduced to what you have to offer and get some kind of result from you. Here is what a free offer looks like. If you go to evercoach.com/extraordinary-coach, you will see it's a 5-part video series that you get to become a 6-figure coach, right? Like I said, that's the audience that we had niched into to get started into EverCoach, right? And when you do that, what happens is, as a new person, as a person who doesn't know about me at all, when I introduce my offer to them, they go, well, it's a 5-part video series. In that 5 parts, I give them a full system that they can utilize to become a 6-figure coach. In the process of introducing them to all these 5 segments, I also introduce them to my products that they can choose to purchase if they want to go forward. So the 5-part series allows them to do that, and that gets them to be able to look at my videos, to be able to go, do I like this guy? They get to get a result even if they don't purchase anything from me. So what happens with that is not only I've immediately generated revenue, because when the 5-part series is happening, I'm also offering them to buy something from me. What I've created is a long-term value with them, because now they have actually got a result with me while going through this 5-part series, and they've gone, wow, this is a cool person as a coach, and I would love to know more about them. Okay, so I like the free offers. I like to give people stuff before they have to do a transaction with me. Here is how you can create a free offer. Let's assume you did competitive research in your space, and continuing the example that we were using, your audience is a 35-year-old male who is in fitness. Okay? If that's your audience, what will happen is you would go, okay, so what is it that he really wants? A 35-year-old male hopefully is somebody a little bit more affluent. They are also probably strapped for time. They probably have a family. So let's say the headline for your competitor most of the time goes, find out how in 5 minutes a day you can stay healthier and lose 5 kgs. I'm making this up. I'm not saying it actually is possible or not possible. That's not my field to recommend that. But let's say that's the most common headline. That's what you're seeing people consistently talking about, that the 35-year-old male dude is usually looking for something that's fast, easy, gets them to lose weight and stay fit, and be able to eat popcorn or get their drink in the night, whatever the thing is, right? So if that's the consistent headline, you think about, can you actually provide that solution to your audience? So you go, so can I help a 35-year-old male in the course of the next 14 days, 21 days, whatever those number of dates are, to lose that weight and be more healthy, be more full of energy, because that's what they're looking for. And if you can, here is what your headline will look like. Learn how to, I really shouldn't write that headline because it'll look terrible by the end of it. I write it, but listen to it. It would be something to the tune of, learn how you can also lose 5 kilos in the next 21 days following a regime that takes less than 5 minutes a day. Right? Because now you know that's the consistent problem that your competitors are solving. Hopefully that's the problems that your audience will be looking for. And then you will subheadline it with something like 35 instructor with the experience of 35 years shares the one secret that they've been sharing with their audience for the longest time that has helped them lose 20 pounds in the scope of 3 months, whatever the thing is, right? So you subheadline it with that. Featured teacher, if you're in Fox News or some other news or whatever news channel, you say that as well. You establish that credibility with you, get them to opt in, and let them go watch the 5, 20, 21-day series, right? That's how easy creating a free offer becomes, right? Because you've found what your audience really wants. You've created a free series to give that solution. It could be a 5-day program, doesn't have to be 21 days. That's just an example that I gave. It could be a book. It could be a PDF. It could be anything. The idea is you give them that solution at this stage and make a landing page out of it. Some very simple tools you can use to do that is leadpages.com, clickfunnels.com. There's tons of software that allow you to create a landing page in 5 minutes flat. Cool. If you do it as a webinar, which is what we do a lot of times, is instead of creating a 5-7-day funnel, I just say I'll make a webinar that solves this problem. I'll tell them to go check out the webinar, and I would just put it on my software, which is called Blink Webinars. So what you would do is you would just simply say it's the same headline, the same opt-in form, and then letting them know that if you watch this free presentation, you will learn about whatever the solution is that you offer, right? So that's as easy as it gets. You just have to simply do that, and you can offer somebody a solution and let them say yes to you for no money flat, right? Now, when you have created your free offer, what you do, which is step 4, I'm using paper as much as I can so I don't spoil it too much, is you validate your offer. So this is the point where I suggest it depends if you want to pay in time or money. I like to pay in money because I'd rather stop a business than keep trying. So what I do usually is I'll take this offer, whatever that is, and create a small Facebook ad, run $200 worth of advertising on it. How to run a Facebook ad, very easy. It looks more daunting than it is, but trust me, if you just Google it or look into your Zentrepreneur membership area, you will find that this is already available to you, right? What you do is you run $200 of Facebook advertising and you simply run it to this landing page. You see what's the cost per lead, how many people are actually signing up. Sorry, I should write that down so you can actually remember it. So cost per lead, and how many people are opting in, percentage, so basically it's called percentage of conversion on landing page, LP's landing page for future reference, and percentage of sales, if any. If you already have like a offer that happens once the person has opted in for something for free, then you just see how many people of those are actually buying that thing. Now let me explain these terms a little bit. Cost per lead is basically how much you're paying per lead, which means, let's say if you spend $200 and you got 100 leads, it basically means you're paying $2 a lead. That's the cost of the lead that opted into your system. Now, usually in the space for experts, unless you're a financial expert or something, your cost per lead, if it's personal development, is about $1, maybe $2, maximum $3. And if you are in the more business entrepreneurship area, then it may go to from $3 to $5, $6, right? It really depends, but somewhat between that, you should feel good about your cost per lead, okay? Usually from Facebook. Secondly, how many percentages is converting on the landing page, or what's the landing page conversion as it's called? Anything that is above 20% usually is a decent conversion rate. I'm not saying that's where you should stop at, because you can have landing pages that convert at 40, 45%, 50% even. But that's what you're looking at, because this ties in directly to your cost per lead. Because let's say if you spend $200 in advertising, sending 2,000 people to your page, 100 opt in, if you can increase the conversion rate to by 50% more or 100% more, 200 people will opt in, lowering your cost per lead. If it becomes too mathematical, just rewind and listen to it again, and you will see when you write it down on a piece of paper, it actually is fairly easy, okay? And then, how many of these 100 people or 200 people signing up actually bought the product? Let's say 10 people bought the product out of 100. That means 10% of your leads convert to sale, which means, let's say if it's a $19 product, you made $190 by spending $200. That actually validates your offer, because that means with your initial understanding of business, you can drive $200 worth of leads and make $190 in the first 5-7 days when you make your first offer, which means you can actually scale this up by tweaking on the offer a little bit, helping with the conversion rate here, or seeing if you can drive more sales some way through emails or different ways, and you have a winning offer, which means you can scale this enormously and actually have a very winning strategy, right? So if this gets too complex, too mathematical, just pause, rewind, start again. It's absolutely okay. It does take a few minutes to get your head around it for the first, second, third time, but it becomes easier as we go. Just to give a reference again, let's say, for example, you're getting $2 leads and you are able to get 100 leads for $200. You are able to make 10 sales of $19 each. You are making $190 back. So you see, you spent $200, you made $190 back, means you're very close to finding a funnel that works, okay? So that's how it works. Next step is you create a paid offer, which is basically the $19 offer if you don't have it already. Sorry, I skipped the math too fast. Step 5, create a paid offer. This is basically the $19 offer that I was talking about in the previous chart. Is basically you create something that people can say an easy yes to. It's an easy yes. So for example, here is what an easy yes will look like for the offer that we were talking about before. We were talking about how a 35-year-old man who wants to lose weight or wants to be fit can get started in the next 21 days, can be more active, and can lose 10 pounds, right? An easy yes to that is, would you, if a person like this has already got a guide, would they want personal coaching session? Or would they want an accelerated guide that can help them do that in 14 days? Or would they want a juicing package that we can send them everyday videos to motivate them to go and actually do what they wanted to do, right? Whatever that makes it easy for them to get that result that we promised in the initial go, and makes it even easier and faster and more convenient, that's the product you want to create, right? So for that situation, let's say you go, oh, you don't have to wait 21 days. You can get started today. Here is a guide that will show you exactly the smoothies that you need to make in the next 7 days to see your first 5-pound loss. Of course, I'm not saying that I know anything about it, but that's an easy yes offer, right? An easy yes offer in this situation, because it's health, it probably will be really, really cheap. It will be something between $19 to $39, just because the market rates are like that. But let's say if you're personal development, you could go anywhere from $69 to $200. If you were in a professional services environment, you can go from, and these are, I'm not saying these are like the benchmarks, I'm just saying these are the ways you can think about your pricing, right? You can go from $199, you can go up till $999, $997, right? So it could be any of those depending on the market, the space, your competitive research. You can take any of those price points. And based on these price points, you will see less or more people will convert to buyers. And based on your math on how much you spent to get those number of leads, you will see if this is profitable. What you want to make sure is that you become profitable right here, which is your first paid offer. If it pays off your advertising and more, a little bit more, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, because it proves we can actually drive a lot more traffic to it, because you were just doing a test run for $200 and it worked. Now, let's say you didn't have those $200, by the way. You could ask friends, you can post it on your Facebook, you can try to write some blog posts for some guest blogs where they take guest blogs and run all that traffic to this landing page and see the result. That's where you are ending up paying in time, because it'll be slower and you won't get the results so fast and you won't get true results so fast. But that's a way to do it. So you can go ahead and do that if you don't have the $200 to run that advertising. I suggest, though, find the $200. It's always better, because you end up not paying in time, you pay in money. All right, so that's fifth step, is to run your first paid offer. This is your first product that people should get because you want to give them the actual paid results. It basically is an easier, faster, better way of getting the same result that they opted in for, because that's their desire, that's what they really want. You're just making it faster and easier for them, is why they're happy to pay whatever different price points for that. Okay, because the other one is a free offer, right? And in that, you will, of course, what happens while that is happening, and this is where it gets a little bit more advanced, because it starts to get into funnels and all that kind of stuff. But stick with me, let's try to craft that. Okay, so step 6 is create a funnel around it. Now, people get overwhelmed at this stage. Don't get overwhelmed. It's easy like a conversation. People make it more complex and try to go, oh, you need to be certified to do this, and it needs to be this and that, and so much psychology and all that. Yes, all that is required when you get into your advanced stage and you're creating your $20 million business. But while you're creating your 6-figure and $1 million business, you don't need no ninja NLP and stuff. What you need is great conversations with your clients. For example, let's take the 35-year-old example. The 35-year-old man was trying to lose 20 kilos, pounds, whatever you call it, and they're trying to do that in the next 21 days because they have to go to a wedding and they like the bridesmaid or whatever, right? So what's happening is you have a landing page where they said, yes, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 20 days, or 5 pounds in the next 20 days. They say yes here, right? Now they've said yes, you know they have a deep desire to lose weight. What you're going to do is you're going to give them a page, which we call OTO, or one-time offer, where you're saying, hey, I know you want to lose this weight, and you can make a video out of it if you don't have a sales letter person to write it for you, just for the sake of time. And you simply say, hey, I know this is your desire, you want to lose weight. Here's a system that I've tested over the past 45 years since I've been helping people lose this weight in the span of 20 days. But you know what? I know your desire is to not lose only 5 pounds, but 50 pounds, and I can do that in the next 14 days for you using this wonderful guide that I've written for you, which will cost you only $19 right now. Otherwise, it is sold for $49. Of course, the claims that I'm making here is absolutely untrue. Please do not make those claims because they're all false. But right now, you just made an offer for $19 for somebody who is very deeply in desire to take that option of losing weight, for example. Now, what happens is, let's say they decided not to buy this product. So they said, no, I am not interested. I do not trust you enough, right? That is probably what is going on in their head, is they're going, there's so many people trying to sell me this $19, $20, $29, $39 guides. This is probably untrue. This is probably not going to work. So they say no, and they move on. What happens is they get the 20-day sequence of guides, of everyday challenge, or whatever the thing that you were offering here, the free program. Basically, they get day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. until day 21, right? Now, what happens parallel if they said no to day 1 to day 20 is you also give them the option of buying the same guide, or if you have anything else, for say $29, right? Now, what's happening in this 21 days, if you think about it, is your clients are actually starting to see results, because that's what you offered them and that's what you're delivering here, irrespective they chose to purchase or not, which means that they are increasingly trusting you. They're increasingly going, hey, I like this person. They know what they're doing. Seems like it's working for me. Maybe I should take the accelerated program. And maybe they will say yes at this stage of your funnel. And that is pretty much what a funnel is. A funnel is a way for you to let your potential client understand you better, trust you better, know your solution a little bit better, to be able to take an educated decision on if they should buy your product or not, or they should buy something else from you if this is not the solution they were looking for. Maybe they were looking for something else. Maybe they don't want to lose weight so fast. Maybe they want to do something else, maybe build muscle. I don't know. Whatever that solution is, they will take the option as they go, because they will trust you more. And that's what you're trying to do, which is why this free series cannot just be some random bunch of videos. It should progressively get them that solution. But here's the point. As an expert, you already have this system in you. You just have to record it or write it or whatever the thing is comfortable with you and do it. And that's pretty much it, right? So that's what a funnel is. That's what you would create once people sign up and you have created an offer that they are ready to take. And then you will just offer them over the course of 21 days while they're experiencing your free solution. Okay? So that's the baseline that you've created, and you've already, in this scenario, if you think about it, you've already created a way to make revenue in your business. And you've tested it, and it seems to be working. All right? Which is where we go to step number 7. Step number 7 is making a traffic plan. No, this is not traffic as in car traffic, but this is the traffic that comes to your website. All right, what is a traffic plan? A traffic plan is once you know that you can spend $200 and make $190 back, like we saw in the example before, what is it that you can do consistently and increasingly so more people, you can spend more of those $200 to make $190 immediately, for example. Right? So you can actually scale your business, because now all these people are coming into your funnel, they're actually experiencing you, they're likely to buy, even if not immediately, then a little bit later within the funnel, which means if you made 190 straight off the bat from them by spending 200, that means that later on when they buy, when you're making a $29 offer or $39 offer or $49 offer, if you remember here in the funnel, you are making profit every single time they make a decision that they trust you and want to try your product, right? So the 190 that was here might have become, in the scope of 7 days, $500, $300, $400, whatever the amount is, right? It's beyond your credit card cycle, so you can actually invest more. And that's called having a traffic plan. A traffic plan is basically an expansion of your current plan. And here is how I like to expand it. And I'm going to give you this easiest channel. There are many channels. You can use any of them, whatever works for you. I know most of the people are scared of this. So what I'm going to give you is the easiest channel that you can use, which is, thanks to Mr. Zuckerberg, our dear friend, is Facebook. Okay, why? Because Facebook allows you to target your competitors. Remember how in the starting we found our competitors or people in the same space? Facebook allows you to target ads to these people. So what you would do is, let's say, for example, same 35-year-old man who wants to lose 20 pounds in the next 20 days. What do? We will run the ad that we wrote. We run the test of $200, and we would target that ad to our competitor fan pages. For example, in this scenario, let's say, and I do not know if she's in that space, let's say JJ Virgin, who's a big name, is an authority in that space of fitness. You will just run an ad to fans of JJ Virgin saying, hey, and then you would say, for example, in Facebook, this is how it will look like. Fans of JJ Virgin who are 35 years old, 35 years of age, who are male, and say your audience mostly lives in Austin. I don't know why I picked Austin, but let's say that's the place. So location, Austin. You will run an ad exactly to this audience, fans of JJ Virgin living in Austin who are male and 35 years old, and you will run an ad, target an ad to them saying, would you like to lose weight, 20 pounds in the next 20 days with this free 20-day challenge or whatever the thing is, right? And that will get people to come to your landing page. If your conversion rate and your cost of advertising stays, you will continuously grow your traffic. Now, what mistake most of the businesses do at this stage is they go, oh, it's working, let me just target everyone. Do not target anyone. Remember, beachheads first. And just one beachhead is worth sometimes 6-7 figures of business. So scale that beachhead first, dominate that space. Don't try to just like go in that space, dominate the space, create everything that you can for that space. And once you've dominated it is when we'll worry about how to scale the business, right? Right now, this is what you do. You target exactly the demographic that we decided as beachhead, using the competitors that we already researched, and run ads to them that we already tested, to the landing page that we already tested, and scale just the amount of investment you're making in it. And hopefully, you will make the same amount of return on that investment, giving you growth in business. Once that happens is where magic starts to happen, because now you're running a business, it's making revenue, it's probably not making any profit or making marginal profit, but it's working. You have leads in your ecosystem, you have business coming in every month, every day. What happens next is where you actually grow, let's use that word, your product suite. What does that mean? That simply means this. Now I have so much traffic coming, they're experiencing my 20-day journey, and for whatever reason they decided they don't want to buy it. The reason why that might happen is because they feel that's not the right solution for them. They trust you, but it's like they don't want to lose 20 pounds in 5 days. Let's say that if that was your guide offer, they want to do something else. What do a 35-year-old man in Austin who's related to JJ Virgin or likes JJ Virgin wants to do? Maybe he wants to learn how to cook better and have a greater lifestyle over a longer stretch of time. So guess what? What's your next product? And you can ask this to your list already, because now they've signed up, they're in your ecosystem. All you have to do is send an email to them and say, hey, I'm looking at creating new products and solutions for your better life. What would you like to learn next? Hey, or what can I tell you next that will help you live a better lifestyle? They would tell you. In this scenario, let's assume they told you that they want to live a better lifestyle over an extended period of time. So maybe what you would create is a $200 product that allows you to live a better lifestyle, right? Wow, I really suck at this. Live a better lifestyle. So what happens is now you have another product that you can send to your list of these people interested, plus you can plug it into your funnel, because now you know that is one of the desires that these 35-year-old men from Austin who like JJ Virgin actually have. So you have the next product. And then what you do as an author, as an expert, you do the genius that you're already at, which is basically you go and you go, okay, what's next? One is better lifestyle. Maybe the next one is how to gain more muscle. And you go, okay, $99, more muscle. Maybe the next one is they go, you know what? My problem is I don't stick to my regime. Okay, we have a membership area, $49 a month. And here's a membership area where you can learn how to stick to your regime, your diet, your workout, whatever that is, right? Ask your questions. Here's a tribe of people who do the same stuff that you do, etc., etc., etc. And you keep increasing your product suite. Every time you add a product to your funnel, you add a product as an email to your list, you generate more revenue, you generate more exposure, you generate more clients, leading to a greater brand for yourself. Okay? So that's step 8. Now step 9, which is basically the final step if you think about it, because now you have a system and you keep repeating. Basically, you keep increasing your traffic, like we said. So instead of JJ Virgin, next one might be Dave Asprey. I don't know, something like that, right? So you go to people in the space, competitor space, as far as broad as you can, keep creating products, and your business will keep growing. Which brings us to the next question. So what's the next level? And there's many next levels, but the immediate next level for a business that is at this stage, who's created 3, 4, 5, 7 new products, which has a killer traffic strategy, has traffic coming all day long, has already got the financials down, is starting to get the team, is where it starts to become a little bit more complex. So I'm not going to say it as step 9, but it's the next stage, because that needs you to actually go ahead and study many different areas of the business. So next stage happens once you have hit over 200K, 250K annual, where you will start to go, oh, I can't really manage this with just a VA. So you need to have a customer support team. You need to find a traffic person, because you can't possibly be writing it like doing these ads anymore, or hire an agency. You might need somebody when you create products, somebody to be able to do copy for it, or if you're doing video production, you might need a video team for it, and so on and so forth. You might need a writer, you might need so many things. And also what you will start to realize is people are recognizing you, so you need to create a brand around you. You need to make sure that people recognize you, follow you, etc., etc., etc. So it gets a little bit more complex, and that is exactly why we've kept the Zentrepreneur membership area so fluid, that you can go ahead and access all these different topics within the scope of Zentrepreneur and be able to go to any of the journeys and be able to go, okay, what's the next step? How do I write better copy? What's the template for that? How do I create a video? How do I create a brand? How do I create content campaigns? How do I create webinars? All these structures is what you require as the business keeps moving forward. And for all of that, you would go ahead and see that in your membership area in Zentrepreneur. For you, once you've reached this stage, all that will come next is organization will actually start to grow your business even more, right? And sometimes it will be at $250,000, sometimes it will be at $500,000, sometimes it will be at $5 million. It doesn't matter what it is for you, because it also depends on the expert itself of what their dream is, how they want their life to look like, etc. So I'm not going to say what stage you will reach this, but usually it's about $250,000 to $500,000 where you go, I think I need more support than just creating more content or creating more offers for myself, right? So that's where you will do all of this stuff, and all of that support is available in Zentrepreneur. You can also ask questions on the tribe for us to be able to feedback any of the particular situations that you may be facing for this particular area for scaling your business. Okay, so that's Ajit. I am certain you enjoyed the training. Ask your questions in here or at the tribe, and I'm more than happy to answer that. Have a fantastic day.